So deep down I think that we all knew that this was coming. Borderlands 3 has so many Easter eggs and references that we've already covered 50 of them on this channel, and today we tackle 25 more as we explore more Borderlands 3 Easter eggs, secrets and references. As with all my Borderlands videos, this video was made in collaboration with Garbett. Garbett is a fellow Easter egg hunter who I don't think has slept since Borderlands 3 launched. If you want to see the latest Borderlands Easter eggs, then be sure to check out his channel, the link will be in the description. Oh, and as mentioned, after this video we would have covered a frankly ridiculous 75 Easter eggs in this great game. But if you still think there are some Easter eggs we haven't included in these videos, then be sure to let me know. Twitter, Instagram or Discord are the best places to do so. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. So as usual, let's kick things off with the references that can be spotted on the loot found in game. The first couple are actually references to superhero movies, the first of which is this. So you may recall the phrase "Bonesaw is ready" was said, albeit with a little more enthusiasm, by Macho Man Randy Savage in the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film. The second superhero reference can be found on the Nuclear Jericho weapon. The weapon's red text reads, "I prefer the weapon you only need to fire once," which is a reference to the Jericho missile from the first Iron Man, and this quote in particular.
They say the best weapon is one you never have to fire. I respectfully disagree. I prefer the weapon you only have to fire once.
The next movie to get a nod from Gearbox is a Halloween classic. The burning black flame has a red text that reads, "A virgin lit the candle." Both the name of this weapon and the text are references to Hocus Pocus, where a virgin lights a black flamed candle, causing the witches to be freed.
What happened?
A virgin lit the candle.
This next movie is a cult classic, so I'm sure that a lot of you will be familiar with it. At Conrad's Hold, you can encounter these two. So this gruesome twosome are a reference to Sloth and Chunk from the Goonies. In the film, Sloth wears a Superman t-shirt, and while Sloth in Borderlands 3 doesn't, probably due to copyright reasons, he does wear a similar shirt. Chunk is also seen sporting the black pirate's hat he wears at the end of the film. Killing the pair will sometimes grant you the "It's Piss" legendary grenade, which has a red text of "Hey you guys," a reference to Sloth's catchphrase. Now I must confess that I've never seen the movie this next clip is referencing, but even I recognise the red text on this Gunner class mod. The text reads, "Ideas are bulletproof," which is a reference to this scene from V for Vendetta.
Beneath this mask there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.
So from a movie I haven't seen to one I eventually watched because it was referenced so many damn times in video games. In the Meridian outskirts, you can find this guy.
You there, how are your last breaths going?
So Borman Nates is an obvious reference to creepy hotel owner turned murderer Norman Bates from the 1960 film Psycho. Sometimes Borman will drop the aptly named pointy Psycho stabber, which has an impressive 120% melee damage as demonstrated here.
Let the life bleed from you.
Up next is a reference to everyone's favourite robots in disguise. The appropriately named Transformer shield has a red text that reads, "There's more than your eye can see," which is, as you could probably guess, a reference to the Transformers. Okay, this next weapon caught me a little off guard, simply because it wasn't something I expected to see get a mention in Borderlands. The compressing storm has a red text of, "Tut tut, it looks like rain." This is a reference to Winnie the Pooh.
You would just kind of open your umbrella and say, "Tut tut, it looks like rain."
Tut tut, it looks like rain.
Also, this gun has a pretty cool firing mode, which is worth sharing. You have to charge up each shot, but when it lands, it then produces 4 hovering projectiles which constantly zap your enemies with electricity. It may not be the most powerful thing in the world, but it still looks really cool. So on to a couple of TV show references now, the first being the shocking AAA with a red text of, "Hold on, they're lithium," which is a reference to Season 6, Episode 12 of the US Office and this classic scene in particular.
Without batteries, and I have one for each of you. Hey, hold on, they're lithium.
This next clip should really need no explanation. The grenade mod, amusingly called Moxie's Bouncing Pear, has a red text that reads, "Prepare for trouble and make it double," which of course is a reference to Team Rocket from Pokemon. The final gun reference, for now at least, is the double penetrating occultist, which has a description of the only way you can control people is to lie to them. This quote was said by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. Now I don't know about you guys, but if somebody said that to me, I'm going to take everything else they say with a huge grain of salt, and I certainly wouldn't be joining any religion they started. So that almost does it for weapon references, though there is a couple that we'll come back to later in the video. For now, I wanted to highlight a character skin. Surprisingly, I haven't managed to uncover many references in the customization items, though I'm sure there are many, so if you know of any then let me know. That being said, the item I wanted to highlight today is this head skin. So this is a reference to Dante from Devil May Cry, but instead of calling the item Devil May Cry, Gearbox chose to go for Demon Could Weep. So this next clip is something that I need help understanding. Before Borderlands 3, I've only been a casual Borderlands player, meaning I'm not 100% up to date with the game's lore. So I'm hoping you guys can shed some light on why this happens. So when you shoot the cereal boxes, a guitar riff can be heard. As I said, I'm not going to pretend to be an all-knowing YouTuber, so if any of you guys could help me understand why this happens, that would be great. So in the very first episode of mine and Garbett's Borderlands videos, we discovered Wick and Morty, who were obvious references to Rick and Morty. Well, that's not the only Rick and Morty reference in Borderlands 3. In the Meridian Metroplex, you can find this. So this is Pickle Rick, who can be seen in Season 3, Episode 3 of the show.
Oh god! Perpendicular! Perpendicular! Oh shit!
So time for some more video game references in Borderlands 3 now, starting with this. So a horned head in a boat. This is a reference to the head of Mimir from 2018's God of War. This next clip references the Destiny series, more specifically Destiny 1. In the Droughts you can find this. So this is an almost exact replica of the ship that you could find at the beginning of Destiny.
It's been here a while. Hasn't made a jump in centuries. We're lucky the Fallen haven't completely picked it clean.
Oh, and I almost forgot, at the beginning of the game you can find a post with a very familiar sign. So Red Rum is a reference to the movie that's always getting referenced in video games, The Shining.
Red rum. Red rum. Red rum. Red rum.
So this next clip is probably the strangest discovery in Borderlands 3 so far. It requires mods to achieve, but that's pretty simple if you follow a tutorial. At the starting area of the game, you can find this. So pushing the button does nothing, and reading the text seems to suggest that it was a way for devs or bug testers to pass certain parts of the game. Still, it's pretty strange for something like this to be left in the final release. So I've saved the best till last. In the first video we discovered the mighty Rakkman, who was a reference to Batman, but that's not where the Dark Knight love ends. First of all, you can find a gun called the Dead Chamber. It has red text that reads, "You're not playing the odds, friend," which was a line said by Two-Face in The Dark Knight.
Let's go again. I don't know anything! Dude! You're not playing the odds, friend.
The final Batman-related Easter egg weapon is by far my favourite we've covered so far. The Pouncing Nightflyer has a description that reads, "I have one rule," which is referring to Batman's one rule he must follow, that being he doesn't kill. And true to its word, the gun does just that.
Leave the jab! Righteous death! You're gonna die!
So as you can see, it reduces enemies to 1 health, but it won't let you finish them off. which is so cool. It's also pretty useful for completing certain challenges like the ground pound challenge. As you'd expect, this gun drops from Rakkman, but it can be quite rare. So that's it, that's 25 Easter eggs, secrets or references in Borderlands 3. Once again, a huge thank you to Garbett for recording all of these clips. Be sure to head over to his channel if you want more Borderlands Easter eggs. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is really appreciated, and if you're a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.